everyone, and welcome to another installment of TED Excellence, the show in which I learn more about advertising than by watching television. And I come to you live from Crater Valley on the moon with Dogcat Fox, a Pepperjack, and all of you. I almost said Dogcat Pox. Dogcat Pox? Oh no. Yeah, that's what Dogcat Fox gets when he goes into certain neighborhoods on the moon, I guess. Anyway, hello everyone. I feel like maybe I've got Dogcat Pox. I'm running on fumes today. I had a really, really lousy sleep last night, and I've been trying to play catch up all day. So if I'm a little off, if I'm a little punch drunk or sleep deprived, I apologize. Either way, how are y'all doing this evening? Yes, we return once again to the wonderful world of off-brand TED Talks. Tonight we'll be talking about advertising. The wonderful world of advertising and marketing, I guess, as our presentation is called Mad Men, a discussion on race, gender, and a need for greater diversity. And I'm assuming it's about marketing. I don't know for sure, but that's the implication. We'll find out together. Before I get into anything else, who's joining me this evening as we delve into the world of pinstripe suits and pomade? Kiever Dam, good evening. Mike R, hello. Who else is here? Funtime Bats, Tyrannus, Alexandrius, the Invictus Lich, hello. Jamie Milquist, hello. John Miller, hello. Shell D, hello. Cynic, hello. Let's see. Mike R. Did I already say Mike R? If I didn't say Mike R, Mike R. The Useless Cook, hello. Swirl Blue, hello. Resolute Germ, hello. Angelverse, hello. Spud Gun, hello. Derek LaRue. Oh my gosh, Derek LaRue, as always, thank you so much for your continued support and generosity. I really do appreciate it. Hope you're having a good Thursday so far. Hope you enjoy the show. And for everybody, I hope you're staying cool wherever you are, because a lot of people, including myself, are dealing with heat waves type stuff right now. Speaking of which, in the opposite direction, Jack Frost, hello. Attack Alpaca, hello. Noah Essentio, hello. Seftus Wolf, hello. Simon Willikins, hello. Lexi Mads is here. Well, now we can really start. But before we begin, speaking of advertising, I have to remind everybody that I have a non-sponsor. No, I'm not sponsored by anybody, but I do have a friend who has something he'd like you to check out. This is my friend Satsu, aka Chef Tyrone, founder, owner, and CEO of Oshi Fried Chicken LLC, featuring a new line of seasoned flour mixes. Chef Tyrone's seasoned blends are the perfect gateway to delicious fried chicken or any other protein you might want to use them on. These recipes were painstakingly tested in Tyrone's home kitchen to bring you the fantastic flavors that you and your family can enjoy. The current flavor lineup includes original, spicy, and lemon garlic herb. You can buy individual packs of your favorite flavors or save some money by ordering a variety bundle all through the online store. Go to www.oishifc.com and order today. And I am authorized by Chef Tyrone to let you know there are two new spice flavors on the way. I can't tell you what they are. He's going to do the official reveal soon, but check out Oshi Fried Chicken if you want to check out some flavored flour mixes, spicy flour mixes for your chicken and other proteins. So there you go. So there's my advertisement example. But yes, so tonight, Mad Men, a discussion on race, gender, and a need for greater diversity. Now, whenever I think of marketing and advertising, the first thing I think of is an old Bill Hicks routine. If you guys don't know who Bill Hicks was, he was a controversial and I think very good stand-up comedian, and he does a bit. You can probably find it on YouTube if you look up Bill Hicks and advertising or marketing. He was no fan of advertisers and marketers. I won't try to recreate his bit here, but it was very entertaining, still is, and has rings true to a certain degree. And so I'm curious to find out what our speaker has to say on the subject. Again, I'm extrapolating from the title and just the outfit our speaker is wearing, that he's going to be talking about. Well, I mean, either he might be talking about the TV show. Maybe he's just talking about the TV show. And if he's talking about the TV show, well, I mean, that show was a dramatic recreation of a fictional advertising agency in the late 50s into the 60s. So if he says there's a lack of diversity in a fictional television show advertising campaign, I could believe it. So maybe it's just going to be a dissertation on a TV show. If that's the case, I might have something to say. If not, we'll see. Either way, a couple more hellos before I get into it. Liesel7, hello. A2P, hello. Ostsan, hello. And I think that's everybody. If I missed you, if you're lurking, if you're in the future, hello. All right, so this one's a relatively short TEDx, just comes in under 10 minutes. So tonight's bingo card for reminders is bingo card B. B as in Spuds McKenzie. That was the winner of the poll on Twitter to decide what the bingo card would be this evening. If you'd like to take part in the poll each week to decide what the bingo card will be, follow me on Twitter, scribe_light. Links to the bingo cards are in the description below. And also, before I forget everything else, speaking of advertising and all else, at the top of the chat box, if you'll pay attention there for a moment, is a link to a GoFundMe to Twisted Skipster, a longtime audience member and friend of the show. Twisted's friend Tracy is in need of some help with some bills as life circumstances have befallen her, and just needs a little bit of a push to get past that line. If you have a couple of bucks to spare, please consider donating there. If you cannot, that's perfectly fine, but if you can share that link out on social media, that would be appreciated. All right, with all of that as preamble, let's get into it. This clock's in at 9 minutes, 40 seconds. I'll start off with a few seconds for a sound test. You guys tell me if you can hear it, and then we will proceed.
Good evening, my fellow Titans.
My fellow Titans. Oh, is it a particular school? I don't know what school it's at. Dr. Jake Benefla? Mad Men, the need to reduce the diversity gap in Los Angeles? I can't. Okay, that's a different title than the one they put on the YouTube page, but okay. Sounds good, says Mike R. And hello, Scribbles in chat. Oh, Nathaniel Rotskull. Adabisi, good evening. And sounds good, says Derek LaRue. Sounds good, says Swirl Blue. And there we go.
I'm not John Hamm.
I know. You look, I mean, not that I usually comment on the looks of the speakers, generally speaking, but as soon as I saw him on the thumbnail for a second, I thought he was Paul Feig. I thought it was Paul Feig. It's not Paul Feig, obviously.
I am Dr. Jake Benefla.
Oh.
Tonight, I'm going to talk to you about a really big problem in the advertising industry that many people are now talking about. It's the diversity gap.
The gap. Uh-oh. Okay. And with that one statement, I have to do a little bit of my Karnak impression here. How many times do you think, over the course of this presentation, might I rightly say something to the effect of, does a disparity indicate inherently an inequity? Something to that effect. Because he says gap, because I think of like wage gap and so on. But anyway, diversity, equity, and inclusion, of course, is on the board. So let's go there real quick, circling that and also circling free space. Might as well go over the board real quick to remind ourselves what we're listening for elsewise. Bingo card B, marginalize marginalization, self-vilification or wretchedness, contradicts own point or argument, feminism, microaggressions or unconscious bias, privilege, benevolent condescension, weightless example, plays victim, collectivizes own demographic, wage gap. He said gap so far. We got to get to wage gap. Argumentative non sequitur, attempt to coin new buzzword or buzz phrase. A list has to be an official list as part of the presentation. Mind reading or assumes motives. Patriarchy, anecdote that probably never happened. White supremacy, childhood or family anecdote, systemic or institutional, leaves out vital context, sales pitch for product or service, which you would think would be inherent to this, but you never know. And lastly, word salad. But on the board so far, we have free space, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Let's continue.
That is very problematic to many of you.
Problematic.
If you don't know what that is, I'm going to tell you what that is.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you why it's important to you.
All right.
Many of you are graduating. Many of you are going to be looking for jobs.
Yes.
The diversity gap is so significant. It's much like the glass ceiling, but it's more like the front door that you can't get in.
Ooh, okay. So I'm hoping for some charts. I want some charts. I want some statistics. And I want, above that, evidence. Because charts and statistics aren't inherently evidence. Let's see. Does he give it to us?
So no one's talking about this problem.
Okay. To stop you there, no one's talking about this problem. If you're talking about DEI, everybody has been talking about this problem, at least in the course of the last 7 some odd years that I've been doing this. I can guarantee you, in every industry on the planet, it has been talked about by somebody somewhere. I have quite a library backlog of different companies and different industries across the board talking about it. The idea that the advertising sector has not talked about it is nonsense. Nonsense, but anyway.
So no one's talking about this problem, excuse me, because it was until 2 years ago that the Advertising Association in New York published its first diversity report of the industry.
Oh, nobody's talking about it. I'm sure somebody was talking about it. But specifically the advertising industry. I doubt it. I seriously doubt it.
And let me tell you that the results were not very nice.
Oh, so what might I imagine were the results that equate to not very nice?
The results were not very favorable.
Favorable to...
The results looked over thousands of ad agencies, big and small, medium-sized conglomerates, privately owned, public agencies.
Oh my gosh,
And they looked at data across gender, age, income, positions.
Oh.
All of the variables that you would imagine were examined.
There's a variable you did not list there. Is that going to be a variable that comes up?
I'm going to show you some data
that
is going to underscore the significant problem that we have in this industry.
Okay, I really hope that we, as in the home audience, can see his slides or whatever, because I hate if it's one of those things where he talks about things that we can't see.
For the first of all,
yes,
about 70% of the industry is white.
Oh no! Oh my gosh! 70% of the industry is white. Oh no! Oh, that sounds like white supremacy to me. So I'm going to circle white supremacy on the board, at least by statistical analysis. Okay, so that's the first problem. That's the first thing that tells you it's not very nice. It's not very favorable. Okay.
Across the country, the non-Hispanic white population makes up about 60%.
Yes.
So we are overrepresented.
It's not about representation. They're not voted into it. We are overrepresented. Oh, okay. Well, I'm a collectivize his own demographic. Circling that one. Oh boy, we're already on the way.
By whites.
Wait, let's go back. We are overrepresented by whites.
So we are overrepresented by whites.
Mm-hmm.
And the minority of those that work in the ad business are multicultural.
Wait. The minority that work in the ad business are multicultural. Wait. So amongst all the 71% of white people, there's only a monoculture? Wait. Wait a second. Wait. Are you one of those people that associate skin color with culture? It sounds like you might be.
The second problem is when you think about who's running the ad agencies.
Yes.
But 90% are white.
Wait. Yeah. I can't handle the data, everybody. Okay, well, riddle me this. How would you solve for this problem? Right? I mean, for those of you listening at home, this card shows a bar graph that is effectively, it looks similar to, at least in numbers wise, it looks similar to the last one, which was a pie chart. So only 13% of the C-suite in the ad industry is multicultural. Right. Multicultural. right? And remember, race indicates culture. So the four numbers here are white, Asian, Hispanic, and black. And obviously, if you're Hispanic, you have the same culture as anybody else who's Hispanic. If you're white, you have the same culture as anybody else who's white, and on and on and on and on and on. Okay. And all right, so you've given us these numbers. They're not favorable, you say. Okay. Thank you, John Miller. He lost a sale with me, or well, he lost a sale with me. He needs to work on advertising better, but then again, he sounded like a failed marketing major. Well, it depends on what the product is. I mean, so far it's telling us that there is an undesirable race in the advertising industry, right? The predominance of a particular race in the advertising industry is not favorable, not good. So I'm looking forward to hearing how he proposes to solve for this problem.
And so the minority, again, are the multicultural population.
Yes, white people have one culture. You know, a white guy in Texas has the same culture as a white guy in Poland. Just so you know, if you didn't know that, that's how it works.
And this is ironic because our country is becoming more and more multicultural.
Uh-huh. And so so is it that every industry, population demographics wise, should match the country's population demographics?
And so what we're seeing here is that a complete inverse. We're seeing that these agencies are run by whites, and the work that these white CEOs, CMOs, CFOs are now being literally done by folks that, you know, are like you and me.
Wait, what? Okay, I need to back up. Sorry.
We're seeing that these agencies are run by whites.
The agencies are run by whites, which, you know, the way that that's put just sounds so friendly in and of itself.
And the work that these white CEOs, CMOs, CFOs are now being literally done by
the work that these white CEOs, CMOs, CFOs are literally being done
folks that, you know, are like you and me.
What do you mean like you and me? How, if I was in the audience, and I know this is, you know, rhetorical, how am I like you?
So where is the multicultural population working in ad agencies?
Oh, I don't know. Well, okay, you tell me, because my understanding of multicultural obviously does not jive with yours. But okay, he's brought up another card. Multicultural population. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, because this is what he means, multicultural means non-white. Okay, multicultural means non-white, because obviously white people have one culture. Multicultural is non-white. Multicultural population has been relegated to specialized functions. Okay.
So we looked at that, and we found some interesting results. For me, it was surprising and not surprising at the same time. Again, the majority of the white employees in ad agencies fall within the CEO upper echelons of the industry.
Wait, stop. The majority of white people in the advertising industry are CEOs. This is his chart. His chart has 4 columns: CEO, big data, DEI, and DEI. And so column 1, CEO, says 89% white. So CEO as a category. So the top person in an advertising agency, and this doesn't show like numbers of advertising agencies canvassed or anything. It's just a bar chart without any kind of context. Okay, so 89% of the advertising agency CEOs are white. Okay, and then big data, whatever that means, 29% are Asian. Okay, well, what are the other 71%? What? And then the next column says DEI says 57% black. Okay, well, that means, and then DEI for Hispanic, there's another column called DEI and it says Hispanic 14%. So 14% of what? Am I the only one who's confused here? Just a little bit? Okay.
Fall within the CEO upper echelons of the industry. Ironically, DE&I, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Nobody says and I anymore. It's DEI. It used to be D and I before they added E, but now DE and I? That sounds so awkward to me.
Ironically, DE&I, diversity, equity, and inclusion positions didn't exist 5 years ago.
Nonsense. Well, I mean, okay, I don't know when this talk was given. If this talk was given 5 years ago, then maybe. But I've been doing YouTube videos since 2016. I've been doing DEI company promotional videos since at least 2016 or early 2017. And there have been, I did a video on eBay's chief diversity officer back in, I think, 2017. At least thereabouts. There have been okay. This man is challenging my professional expertise, and it's starting to irritate me a little bit.
But we're seeing the majority of black and brown employees bucketed in those two, bucketed in that specific position or function.
Okay, well, would you be happy then if white people were the majority of DEI officers? I mean, given the fact that you're vilifying an entire racial demographic as being too much, would non-multicultural people in DEI executive positions make you happier? What exactly are you asking for here?
Which is interesting.
Is it interesting? I don't find it all that interesting. I think it's part and parcel with the entire ethos of DEI. So what would you, again, what would you have happen?
In Asian, they are mostly concentrated in data analytics or in big data positions.
Okay, in your own chart, you say big data, 29% Asian. So what demographics make up the other 71%? They don't make up the majority of the big data category, if I'm reading this correctly, but I don't know if I'm reading this correctly because your chart doesn't make any sense.
So again, we're being relegated to specific functions based on ethnicity and race.
Oh, we are? Is that how that works? Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Name me the company that is doing that. Name me the company that is hiring people on the basis of their race and only allowing them employment opportunities based on their race to certain departments. And I'm being serious. If our speaker knows of an advertising agency or agencies that has a system set up where only white people shall be allowed into leadership positions and only Asian people will be allowed to enter anything, will only be allowed to enter into data positions and DEI and so on. If you know of that company, if you know that that's the case, hey, lay it out there, because I have a feeling that's illegal. But you're looking at statistical generalities, but then you say, wait, why isn't big data 100% Asian people then? Why isn't DEI evenly 50-50 split between black people and Hispanic people? If you're being relegated into certain roles because of your race, why is there only 29% Asian people in big data? Okay. I'm an English major. I'm not a statistician. I'm not an economist. I'm not a math major. But am I missing something here?
This takes me back to the Mad Men concept. This is not a new concept. We just haven't addressed it.
Okay, he's got a card up. I don't know if he'll read it. On all these cards, he has pictures of characters from Mad Men. Because reasons, I guess. Anyway, there's a very faded, hard to read message on this card because of the color choice of the background. which might be an inside joke given the statement, I don't know. Systemic racism is a root cause of many inequities in the United States. If you say so, and also systemic or institutional, circling that one on the board. I'm surprised he hasn't brought up gender yet, because he mentioned gender earlier. He didn't mention race. He mentioned gender, age, economic situation. He didn't mention race, but now so far all of his charts are race.
So Mad Men took place, as you know, back in the 1950s and 60s.
Mm-hmm.
It's John Hamm and a supporting cast of wonderful actors and actresses.
None of whom you can name elsewise, but okay.
But this really speaks to the systemic racism that we have yet to address within this industry.
The TV show Mad Men does that? Okay, tell me how.
It's systemic because we see it in every facet of life.
Oh, so you're an anti-racist adherent, are you? You're a CRT fan. Okay.
We see it in education.
Oh, yeah, we do. I see systemic racism in education all the time, actually. It's true.
We see it in health.
I'm told it's in health a lot. I don't necessarily see it in health.
We see it in voting.
Yes, certain parties will definitely court and try to curry favor with certain demographics on the basis of race. It's true.
We see it in housing.
If you know of such a thing happening in housing, we have laws against that now, right? We have many, many laws. Redlining and so on is kind of no longer kosher. So anyway.
We see it in wealth.
Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of a wage gap. I'm going to circle that one. Circling wage gap. Yes. Again, you're going to find disparities. Do they indicate inequities?
Anything that has a disparity, to me, is partly explained by this issue.
I knew it. I knew it. It's the God of the gaps theory of statistical analysis. If I see a disparity between races, obviously racism. If I see a disparity between genders, obviously sexism. I don't need to ask any more questions. I don't need to seek any more answers or any more information. I kind of already know. I just already know. How could I have guessed?
So if you're watching Mad Men, you see the classism embedded within the cinematography. You also see the Good Old Boys network very much alive.
Yes, that was one of the main showcases and critiques of the show as things evolved. These were subjects that came up in the show because the show was well aware of the era in which it was set and the issues that they decided to tackle that were taking place at that time between women's liberation and racial disparities in business and so on, and racism and sexism and on and on. Yeah, that was part of the show. Yeah. And
protects themselves, helps each other move up.
Yes. The boys club, the conflicts between class and station and so on. Yeah, those were character elements and story beats within the series because the series is fiction, but it was, again, well aware of the era in which it was taking place. So what?
And around the industry.
Yeah.
And you also have the glass ceiling that prevented women from being more than just secretaries.
Yes, and all of this took place in the 50s and 60s, where the show reflected the evolution of American society within that time frame as things started to change. It was never perfect, but it changed. And we are living in 2023 or 2022 or whenever this was recorded. And we're also living in reality. So if you want to use Mad Men as an example of how bad things could have been back then, because it's still fictional, yeah. Is that how things work today? Let me ask you something. When Mad Men was taking place, Was the Civil Rights Act in effect yet in the timeline of the early seasons of Mad Men? Yes or no?
So John Hamm or Don Draper,
Well, yeah, but there's also another name he goes by. Do you know it?
would say, hey, this is the way it is. This is the way that the industry is.
So
Maybe so that in the 20th century. In the 21st century, I think we're in the position to change things.
Oh, you think? Again, let me ask you something. Was the Civil Rights Act of 1964 in effect in the main continuity of Mad Men? Yes or no? Have things changed since Mad Men? The era thereof. So, the advertising industry is exactly the same now as it was during the era of Mad Men in the 1950s and early 1960s. Is that the case? I mean, if you say so.
I'm here to advocate the total reduction, elimination of the diversity gap in advertising, specifically in Los Angeles, in 10 years.
How? You've got 4 minutes and about 10 seconds. How would you solve the diversity gap in 10 years? Diversity so far only being shown as skin color.
So this is a significant, audacious goal.
Yes, because unless you give me something else to work with, the only mechanism by which I can imagine you're going to solve this problem is by benevolent discrimination. But maybe you've got a different idea.
Audacious.
You can keep complimenting yourself on the idea. You're not giving us any answers.
I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do it.
I think you could do it. I think you could do it. You'd have to violate millions of people's civil rights in California to do so. Or sorry, Los Angeles specifically. But I mean, you could do it.
But you've got to live. You got to live your life with purpose, and you've got to go after the big goals.
Okay. Again, how? And before I forget, because I'm going to go to the card again, I'm going to circle a list because the charts and his other numbers and things effectively constitute a list of demographics, of positions, of categories, and so on. So
And challenge yourself to do the big things.
Stop stalling.
So I'm going to talk about 4 solutions.
Oh, hey! And there's an official list now. Okay. All right. Okay, now, for whatever else he's about to say, credit where credit is due, at least initially, because how many times have we seen it where somebody brings up a problem, but then never offers a solution? Now he's offering. He's promising us 4 strategies. All right, here we go.
We're not here to talk about the problem.
Why not? You already did. You told us the problem is too many white people. But, I mean, it's not much more complicated than that.
We already know the problem.
Uh-huh.
We're talking about the problem.
Wait. We're not here to talk about the problem. We already know the problem. We're talking about the... Hold on. Let's try that again.
Talk about 4 solutions.
Okay.
We're not here to talk about the problem. We already know the problem. We're talking about the problem.
Okay. Is that a contradicts own pointer argument, or is that a WTF? I haven't heard the argument yet as to what it is he's proposing be done, so we haven't gotten to that point. So I think the answer is pretty easy.
What the fuck are you talking about?
What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Right?
I mean, it wasn't the most mind-melting WTF, but within the same statement, he doubled back on himself. So, okay.
Organizational transformation is something that is huge.
Huge.
Most of the issue with diversity, equity, and inclusion today in organizations is that it's treated very much in the HR silo.
Yes. Do you know why that is? Given your own bar graphs and statistics, can you imagine why that is? Because DEI is a headcount population window dressing concern. And where does managing the population of your workforce effectively begin? In HR. Or do you have a different idea?
So people who hire people
Yes.
are responsible for DE&I, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yes. Because ultimately, the people who end up being recruited into or employed or promoted within the company, most of that, a lot of the time, falls within HR in some way, shape, or form, especially when we're talking about recruitment, especially when we're talking about basic employment. So,
You're going to make sure that people get paid their fair share.
well, yes, there's that. You're not talking about pay equity, though.
They're going to be included. They feel belonging. They feel like they belong within an organization.
Feelings can be regulated by HR. Okay.
But it's too small. It's limited. Companies that are going to transform, if the companies need to align, if they're going to align to the changing demography, the entire company has to change.
How? And again, I have to ask, because that's what's being implied here, does every company need to have a demographic split, a racial demographic split in its workforce that exactly matches the country's demographics or the local community's demographics? I mean, at that point, you know what you have, right? You have racial quotas. And how do you maintain a one-to-one racial quota with the surrounding population? What would you have to do in your hiring decisions to maintain racial quotas? Right. As I've said any number of times in the past, perhaps it is the poverty of my imagination to think of a different mechanism by which you could manage your workforce to match a demographic split of desirable skins. But I can't think of it. Is our speaker going to suggest something revolutionary?
The strategy within the organization falls within and outside of HR.
What strategy are you suggesting?
Organizational transformation, I believe, is the only way for organizations to really align themselves to the 21st century.
You didn't tell us anything. The phrase organizational transformation and saying that it's important tells us nothing. DEI is situated in HR. So you say that that's not enough. What should it be? What is the strategy? Again, the phrase organizational transformation means nothing. That could be as simple as, instead of one CEO, we have two. Well, now the organization is transformed. Right? Okay. Is this what we have to expect from the other three strategies?
Industry partnerships.
Okay, strategy 2, industry partnerships. Let's see. Let me guess. I'm going to guess here. Is it going to be something to the effect of advertising agencies need to prioritize partnering with companies led by multicultural leaders? Is that it?
Huge.
Huge.
This is such a huge problem that we're going to need allies and partners in every corner of the industry.
To do what?
I'm really proud to say that the center that I started 10 years ago will be announcing a partnership with Think LA, which is a trade association in Los Angeles, who also has hundreds, if not thousands, of members of advertising agencies in Los Angeles. They share our commitment to create a pathway from Cal State Fullerton to all the ad agencies in Los Angeles so that all of my fellow Titans can break through that front door and get into an ad agency.
Okay, so how does that solve for your problem? Wait. Okay, that was it? Wait, what? So, okay, okay. The problem in the advertising agency industry in Los Angeles specifically is too many white people. So in order to solve this, there needs to be organizational transformation, the details of which you won't tell us. The second strategy is industry partnerships. And by industry partnerships, you mean selecting a particular school by which to offer more pathways to employment for students from that school. And that's going to solve your white people problem? And yes, sales pitch for product or service. He hasn't mentioned it, but he gave plenty of dropping of the agency I work for does this, that, and the other. So I'll circle that one. Okay, so far we have strategy 1, transform organizations in ways we don't know. Strategy 2, make sure Titans have a pathway into the advertising industry. Okay.
Thirdly, removing all barriers.
Removing all barriers, like what? Like educational prerequisites, work history prerequisites, anything, all barriers?
One of the things that I found out as a professor here is that many of my fellow Titans, first generation, who share very much, my life experience.
How? What do you mean life? You're not telling us anything.
Didn't have internships.
Didn't have internships. I never had an internship. I mean, I didn't really go for a industry, I suppose, that required one, but
didn't have mentors.
I mean, depends on how you classify mentor.
So we're building that one by one. I'm doing it pro bono.
Oh, how magnanimous of you.
But my greatest gratification is seeing the Titans get jobs in Deloitte, Microsoft, advertising agencies in Los Angeles. There's nothing more satisfying than seeing them succeed.
Okay, so wait. Is the problem with the advertising industry in Los Angeles that there's too many white people or not enough graduates of your alma mater? Because I'm getting mixed messages now. That was your third strategy. Eliminate all barriers. How? What barriers are you talking about? Wait. Okay, leaves out vital context. If I should have already circled it, but I'm circling it now. Leaves out vital context. This is ridiculous. You work in sales, right? I don't feel sold. Does anybody else feel sold on this so far? Because I don't. Even if I didn't agree with it, nothing about this has been a compelling sales pitch.
And fourthly, courage.
Courageous leadership, it says. Does that involve courageous conversations, Glenn Singleton? Courageous leadership. Okay, what constitutes courage in this instance? What would be a courageous act to help solve for this problem?
Courage.
Yes. Okay. Are you Dan Rather signing off at the end of a news day, or do you have something for us?
We have to do the right thing.
Oh, do the right thing. Okay, so is that a moral statement, or am I watching a Spike Lee joint?
So 2 years after the pandemic ended, I finished writing a book.
Congratulations.
And I realized that everything I had written about the big shift, redefining marketing in a multicultural America, was missing this one thing.
Courage? Is that what it was missing? Thank you so much, Poker Pierce. Ayo, Scribe. Hope all is well, my man. All is pretty good. Thank you, Poker Pierce. Hope all is well with you, and thank you so much for the donation. Hope you're doing well. I hope you're getting something out of this, because I I'm not quite sure what I'm getting out of this so far, but okay, you wrote a book, and on reflection, you realize the advertising industry is missing.
The key ingredient was courage.
Okay, define courage, or explain to us what the lack of courage looks like.
Moral courage.
Moral courage. Uh-huh.
So we can talk about all the strategies, all the things that we can do that
I wish you would, but you haven't.
we need to do. But if we don't have the courage to change, nothing will change.
Change? What? What should change? How should it change? You've told us nothing of how you would solve for the white people problem.
So that's really, really fundamentally important. And it's as important, if not more important, than the first three strategies that we talked about.
You didn't...
So in closing...
Yes, please.
I'm going to ask you, if it's not you...
If it's not me.
Who is going to join me in this endeavor, who will?
What endeavor? What endeavor? To do what?
If it's not now, when?
I don't know. Sometime in the month of Smarch.
I'm counting on all of the titans.
To do what?
We are going to be the titans of industry sooner than later.
Are you? With that kind of explanation and that kind of planning and detail? I don't think so. You're a professor, right? You said you're a professor at this school, I think. So, as a professor, as an industry professional in advertising, I'm assuming, this was your best pitch. This was your best presentation. You bring up Mad Men. You invoke the character of Don Draper, and this is your sales pitch? I'm sorry. I'd be walking out of the room. Thank you again, John Miller. Synergize, courage, adapt, endure, confidence. I can use useless power words too. I know, right? I mean, his pinstripes are a more powerful statement than anything that he's presented so far in this talk.
And we need to address everything that we talked about tonight.
You didn't talk about anything tonight, except to say you don't like the fact that there's too many white people in your industry. So, again, how would you solve for that problem?
Together.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. And so my question has to be, as it was with all these things, okay, was the lack of detail present, let's say? I know it's, sort of like talking about a negative, but the absence of any detail in his plan, was that because he doesn't have any details, or is he reluctant to get specific because of what, at least what I believe, would have to be the inevitable conclusion of his complaint versus the solution? And he just doesn't want to say that part out loud. I don't know. I'm not a mind reader. I can only guess. Either way, yeah, so that was the presentation. Brief, relatively speaking. Let's go over to the bingo card and take a look at what we have so far. Let me get that zoomed in a bit. Yeah, that's a bit, that frame is a little bit different than usual, but anyway. Okay, so here's where we're at. I'm going to go over the bingo card one more time by myself. If you guys have any arguments for squares to be circled, hold on to them, and I'll get to you presently. First off, marginalization. Yes, he said that people were relegated to certain roles in a company on the basis of their race, and so that, inherently requires some kind of marginalization. Self-vilification or wretchedness. He never, as far as I can recall, he never said anything to implicate himself as part of the problem. So I can't circle that one. Contradicts own point or argument. The WTF thing, it was fun, but what he said wasn't an inherent part of his argument. What was his argument? His argument was that there was too many white people in the industry. And did he contradict that in some way? Well, he never gave this is the problem. He never gave an argument. He never said, here's the problem, and so I think this should be the solution. So does the absence of an argument indicated a contradiction. Well, I mean, this is contradicts his own point. Yeah, his point was there's too many white people, and then he didn't proceed to say how he would solve it. So it works for me. Feminism. You talked about the glass ceiling. But again, in relation to Mad Men, does that count? Because he's talking about a fictional universe reflecting, real life situations from back in the day, but he wasn't really arguing that much for gender parity, except in that one instance, and referring to Mad Men. I don't know. Microaggressions are unconscious bias. Not that I recall. He leaned too much on statistics and didn't really give us many anecdotes. Privilege. It was definitely implied in the fact that all leadership positions end up with some demographics and then other places are where other people go and that kind of thing. So I'm going to circle that one. Benevolent condescension. Yeah. I felt condescended to in the absence of any details and the sort of like self-righteous crusade he was articulating. Weightless example, Mad Men, the TV show. It's fiction. It had nothing to do with anything he was talking about. And in fact, the show in and of itself, in many plot lines and characters and everything, were addressing and highlighting the hypocrisies and the inconsistencies and the injustices of that time period in that industry and elsewise. So I'm not... Now, plays victim. I never got the sense he never made himself really the subject of it, except for talking about the work he's doing or the agency he's working with or that kind of thing. So it was hard. It's hard for me to say that he was playing the victim. I didn't get that sense. Thank you, Keeverdam, for the happy, smiley, lovely dog cat fox. Oh, dog cat fox.
Wowie fucking wow.
It's a Satsu dog cat fox. Thank you, Keeverdam, so much. Okay, moving on. Argumentative non sequitur. Did he bring up something and never brought it up again? Age. Economic situation. Yeah, he brought those up at the top of the show, and then he only focused on race. So why bring up those factors if you're not going to mention them somewhere else in your presentation? Attempt to coin new buzzword, buzz phrase. I didn't hear anything new out of him. Mind reading assumes motives. I'm happy to take some pushback on this, but multicultural versus white. All white people have the same culture, think the same, are homogenized, and so on. I don't know. I don't particularly like that one. I hate that. It's like, oh, I see your skin color, therefore I know what your culture is. Or I can assume you have none or something. It's patriarchy. He did talk about the boys club and so on in reference to Mad Men, but all the same, he was using it as an example to illustrate the advertising agency, supposedly now as compared to back in the 50s before the Civil Rights Act. Anecdote that probably never happened. He never gave us an anecdote, surprisingly enough. And I don't count Mad Men as an anecdote. So unless there was something I missed, a childhood or family anecdote. He never talked about himself. He talked about his profession, being a professor, and that he worked in the advertising agencies, I guess. He never talked about himself growing up or anything like that. And lastly, word salad. All the buzzwords, courage, your strategies without any context or definition, it all added up to a giant word salad. And consequently, it took us long enough.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Right?
Yeah!
So there's our first bingo. Might be our only bingo, but that is up to you because now I open the floor to you, chat. If you've got any arguments for squares to be circled, put them in the chat now. If I missed your comment, please just repaste it. And I will see if I can get to it. Nathaniel Rotzko assumes all whites are racist, and that's why there's so many white people. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, all white people obviously only hire other white people. Right? So Obviously so. They all have the same culture. They're all part of the same club. There's no competition. And also, big data is made up of 29% Asians. Yet, where's the other 71%? I don't know. No name. Guy came across as an intellectual lightweight trying to punch up out of his league. Well, again, if I don't know the guy, I don't know what else he does, but as a artifact of, I mean, this was his presentation. He had the floor. He could have said anything he wanted to say, but based on his stated credentials, both being, it said he has a doctorate of something. I don't know what, but he's also a professor, and he also worked in the advertising agencies or industry, and that was his presentation. And he left far more questions laying out there than answers, especially given what he cited as the main problem. And if you're gonna state a problem, it would help to at least offer a solution. Anyway, John Miller, Scribelight, self-vilification. He vilified whites, and he is white, so ergo, by his logic, he is a villain. No, and the reason that I say no is because he kept associating himself with the titans in the room. Like, I'm one of you. We've had similar experiences, on and on and on like that. So he was playing the hero. He was playing the agent to his audience to open up the doors as an insider. That's the sense I got by his presentation and his rhetoric. I didn't get the sense that he was ever saying that he was part of the problem. So if you've got something more, by all means, but I never got that sense. Yeah, that's how I look at it. Poker Pierce, being a titan of industry never happened. Well, I don't know. Like I said, I've never heard of this guy before. For all I know, he could have been super duper executive, influential something or other on Madison Avenue or in Los Angeles or something, and I'd have no idea. So I don't know. He, aside from saying that he was a professor and aside from indicating that he was part of the advertising industry, I don't know what he did. And he talked about partnering with all these other ad agencies and everything else. So maybe he is a mover and a shaker. You know, I don't know. Let's see. Kieverdam, he said, like you and me, I think. Yeah, he kept associating himself and making this speech like it was a, you know, you talked at the beginning how you're all going to be graduating soon and so on. And he wants to help out. And a lot of the focus of his strategies dealt with helping out fellow titans. So I didn't really get the sense that he was seeing himself as a villain or as part of the problem. He saw himself as trying to make a solution for his fellow alumna, if that makes any sense. Let's see. Nathaniel again. He clearly sees himself as the hero bearing the white man's burden. Maybe. I think I'd have to be inferring quite a bit from what we saw there. Let's see. So what else we got? Self-vilification or wretchedness. No, feminism. Microaggressions, unconscious bias. Plays victim, attempt to coin new buzzword, buzz phrase, anecdote that probably never happened, childhood or family. Yeah, we're not going to get childhood or family anecdote that probably never happened. He never gave us any anecdotes. Those are out of the play. Feminism, just saying glass ceiling didn't really do it for me, and it wasn't really a focus. He didn't focus on gender disparities all that much. So he mentioned it at the top, but he didn't make it a part of the argument or part of the presentation. Kieverdam, I think he was saying it from a racial standpoint, though. Again, that would be us mind reading, because he opened up the presentation talking to the audience as, you know, soon to be graduates, fellow titans. So it's hard to say what he was referring to there. It's too much of an abstract to say for sure. And I don't remember him saying anything specifically about his race or his implication or complicity in the problem of the advertising agencies and industry. He saw himself as the hero, the shepherd, and so on. Rand American, so this is an attack on Titans? I mean, I guess you could say that. And I don't even watch anime. I'm not some kind of weeb. Not like Satsu 2 Cents. Satsu 2 cents. That guy. That guy. That guy does what does that guy do again? Oh yeah. This is my friend Satsu, aka Chef Tyrone, founder, owner, and CEO of Oshi Fried Chicken LLC, featuring a new line of seasoned flour mixes. Chef Tyrone's seasoned blends are the perfect gateway to delicious fried chicken or any other protein you might want to use them on. These recipes were painstakingly tested in Tyrone's home kitchen to bring you the fantastic flavors that you and your family can enjoy. The current flavor lineup includes original, spicy, and lemon garlic herb. You can buy individual packs of your favorite flavors or save some money by ordering a variety bundle all through the online store. Go to www.oishifc.com and order today. Yes, and again, there are 2 more season mixed flavors that are coming out soon. I know what they are. I can't tell you what they are because I was sworn to secrecy. I talked to Satsu today, actually, on the phone. We had a nice long chat, and he told me what the new flavor spices are going to be. I can't tell you. Also, yes, Kiefer Dam, Satsu is a CEO, and he's black. Oh my God! Shock of shock. Horror of horrors. Indeed. Tyrannus, did we get commercial rolled? Slightly, yes. Truth be told, I've actually been forgetting to roll that at least once in a while on my streams. And when I talked to Satsu today and he told me about what he's working on, I was like, I should really remember to do that more often. Also, tonight's perfect because it's a show about advertising. So there you go. And I am more than happy to take criticism on my advertising skills. I used some footage from Satsu's own website and put in some copyright-free music and did my own voiceover and other little additions and things. So let me know in the comments what you thought of the ad. And also go check out Satsu's website. Check out oishifc.com. Try to remember it off the top of my head. Let's see. Ebony Williams, support a black-owned business. Y'all. Yeah, I know. See? How progressive am I? Me using my platform to elevate businesses of color. I'm sure our speaker would just love me right now. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it there, guys. A relatively short TEDx, a relatively short episode, but they don't all have to be lengthy to be enjoyable. Anyway, all that being said, I appreciate you guys coming out to check this out. Also, if you haven't already, yesterday I did an interview with Script Doctor, a friend of mine on YouTube, who is a professional script writer, doing a Familiar with the Matter episode. I know those are few and far between these days, but when the idea comes up, I run with it. So I did about an hour-and-a-half interview with Script Doctor yesterday about the Hollywood strikes taking place, the Writers Guild strike and the Screen Actors Guild strike in combination and otherwise. We talked about a lot of different things going on with that, mused on the potentials and the whys and the wherefores. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, go take a look at that. Script Doctor is very knowledgeable on the subject from being an insider in the industry and a career professional thereof as well. This coming Sunday, the Sunday stream at 6 p.m. No, 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern, where I'll talk about a thing. I haven't decided yet. If you can tell, my brain isn't quite screwed on tight yet. And also Sunday evening at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, will be the 3rd installment of Book Review of the Vampire, where my friend Leonora and I are progressively reading through Interview with the Vampire, and we are doing little summaries and discussions on the chapter blocks that we're looking at week by week. This week we'll be covering chapters 7 through 12, if I've got my numbers right. And of course, chapters is kind of a misnomer because they're really just kind of sections in the book, but you know what I mean. So if you're curious about that kind of thing or just want to hear a couple people talk about an old book, we'll be doing that on Sunday evening. But with that, everyone, I'm going to call it here. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I'm still suffering from sleep deprivation, so I apologize. If you have anything else you'd like to add about the presentation or the conversation, please leave a comment below. That also helps out with the algorithm as well. On the way out, if you could leave a like or a dislike, either way, I appreciate it. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though everyone here is so well behaved. You guys have very little to do. Everybody who donated either to myself or please take a look at the GoFundMe link to the top of the chat box for Twisted Skipster's friend Tracy, who needs some help with some bills. She's not asking for much, but if you have a couple of bucks to spare, that would be definitely appreciated. If you can't donate, please do think about sharing that link out on social media. And with that, everyone, hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Hope you have a good Friday ahead of you and weekend as well. Hope you're staying cool if you're in a place that needs to be cooled. And if you're not in a place that needs to be cooled, well, I am envious. I hope you're all safe and well. If you're not well, please get well soon, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.